what's up, guys? This is Outlaw Window Cleaner Radio, and we are here with Steve-O.
What's up?
And Mark Tanner and Tim Huber, and this is Sports Talk with four nerds. Yeah. Steve-O decided to come on the podcast, which is great. And then I noticed that he was wearing a Denver Broncos shirt, and I instantly, which is disgusting that you're going to show it more, I was compelled. I had to put my Browns jersey on. You know what I mean? I can't be messing around out here. You know what I mean? And then Mark's like, you know what? I'm going to go put the most worst team in the NFL team's shirt on, the Dolphins. He's not even a Dolphins fan. He's
not
a
really.
Patriots fan who doesn't want to admit
I'll go to one game a year, and it's usually my wife getting us tickets to the Pats game because she's a Pats fan. So we'll go, sometimes once a year and watch.
Yeah.
Watch them blow the doors off.
In the Mark Tanner luxury suite.
Yeah. No, the sky's the limit box. We have boxes. What are you talking about, Tim? We don't get private elevator, limo, the whole 9 yards. I got chicks blowing me while the game's going on.
that Mark Tanner money, baby.
Go Giants, Jacob. All right. Skid Mark and Turd Huber. Jeez.
Damn.
Yeah, nobody likes the Patriots, apparently, so... I don't know, Steve-O, how's it going for you, man? I know you work in a cold climate. Is it getting any better?
It is getting better. It was this past week. It was like 60 degrees all week. That's been like the past 2 weeks. And then we got a little bit of snow or rain coming on Wednesday. But then after that, I think it's going to be nice. But they did say like from now until July is supposed to be rainier than usual because I think it's like the El Nino year. So that brings more storms in our area later on in the spring. So hopefully we don't have that because that would suck because we had a year where that happened. And you just don't do any homes,
Right.
Sucks.
Yeah, I know.
So, that's how it was here last year. Is we had a rainiest season.
Is there any way? Listen, Tim. Is there any way fucking Bill Jordan could be any worse of a dude? He's not only is he a Michigan fan, but I like the Broncos when they had John Elway. Fuck you, Bill.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Bill.
You went down 3 rungs.
Yeah, can't believe you, sir.
Throwing that Michigan hat up in the group.
Channel on YouTube, then Luke and Rihanna because they're a couple. Aw, Dave, man, Dave the Window Licker says you have the best YouTube channel out there, dude. That's very nice. I think nice Steve-O does have a very good YouTube channel.
Thank you.
Plus, he's handsome.
Thank you.
So he's got that going for him. The only thing that's, like I said before the podcast started, you guys will see those 3 questions later. The only thing I don't like, the only bad thing about him is that fucking Denver shirt. That Broncos shirt. Other than that, you seem like a pretty decent dude.
Broncos were like once America's team for a little bit when they had Peyton Manning. See?
I think it was more Tim Tebow than Peyton too, but Tim Tebow, Peyton, both kind of. Yeah. Peyton's just a good dude.
Oh,
just downright all around.
Jacob,
dude.
Superior Services LLC, that last comment you made. Yep. And D's Nuss is pretty sure what I was thinking. So, Steve-O, what kind, do you do everything?
Yeah. Well, I do not do high rise. We don't do high rise.
No high rise?
No high rise. I've never done high rise. Nope. I started cleaning windows like over 10 years ago in college for like a company. We didn't know what the fuck we were doing. I never changed a rubber for a good 2 years. I didn't know anything. It was horrible, man. Like it was really, really bad. And then took a couple years off. And then in 2012, started working for Fish for like 2 years. Worked for Fish for 3 months, broke my shoulder doing something else, had to be a salesman for 6 months to kind of learn that whole side of the business.
Okay.
And then for a good year and a half, worked for them again. But it was such a shitty situation. Got out of that by reaching out to the guy that I co-own a company with now, worked for him for a few years, and then January 1st of 2016 became an owner with them. So, yeah, worked out pretty well. And we do residential, commercial, storefronts, pretty much keep it to that, and about like 4 stories and under, and only water-fed poles. So, yeah. But, we're a smaller company. There's only 4 of us now. We'll do 5 in the summer. But I mean, you can do a lot of work with 4 people and don't deal with a bunch of bullshit of the other employees. Last couple of years, we've had employees that have just been super hard to deal with, super hard to keep motivated. And I think, Mark, you were saying something on a podcast a little while ago about how it's super hard to keep the employees motivated because you can't pay them enough. Yeah. And that's one of the things that's the hardest thing about it.
Well, anyone who tells you different is in a market that I'm not in. I'm just an honest person, you know. I mean, look, I've had more guys than I have now and made less money. Okay. I've had more guys and made more money. But for me, the sanity of the phone, you know, you cringe every time the phone rings because what happened now? It's just not what I signed up for, you know, and these guys that have, you know, 20 employees, I'm just not about that anymore. I mean, you know, is it worth it?
You'd think you'd just be doing nothing but putting out fires at that point. You know
are doing nothing but putting out fires. I don't care who you got working for you. Right. You know, give me somebody with 10, 15. I had a guy working for me that had 45, 50 years experience. Okay. He came to work for me part-time. And he says, I only want to work 3 days a week. And he says, I start at 4 a.m. and I'm done at 11. And I go, okay. And he goes, here's your route list. He knew the work because he worked with me prior at another company. I go, here's the route list. Everything's twice a month. The restaurants go in and out every time. You know, I'm not going to ask you to collect. You just keep them clean. And he'd call me and he'd go, okay, Tuesday I'm doing this and Thursday I'm doing. I go, I don't give a shit. He's like, what? I go, dude, you're turnkey. And he could clean a window as good as anyone, if not better. And I never worried about it. And those are the guys that you want, not this young, I'm faster, I got better tools. You know, that's all bullshit. That's all bullshit. You can never sacrifice experience. Right. You know, and you get someone that, like this guy didn't have to work, you know. Here's, for instance, my next door neighbor, he moved in a year and a half ago. He's retired, in his early 60s. And he says to me, Mark, I see you, you know, you always got something going on back here and you got all this equipment and I see a couple of your employees show up here and there. It seems like you have a nice business. Tell me about window cleaning. And I just sat and shot the shit with him. And then about 3 days later, he says, you know, I'd like to do that part-time. I need something to do. And I said, you know, I love the guy. He's a great guy, but I can't hire him because he's my neighbor. It's just not a great idea. Right. But I made a phone call to strictly a route company and some residential, but 90% of the revenue comes from, and I go, look, this guy's, he doesn't know anything about window cleaning, but that's an asset. He doesn't have bad habits. He's got work ethic. You know, he retired from a company up north. And I'm jealous of my neighbor making $11 an hour washing windows. You know why? Because he doesn't have to do it. And he goes home and he loves his job and he looks forward to it.
Right.
Right.
I'm jealous of that. I really am.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, was Short Story Long.
Listen.
Cameron Kidd says, even when you pay them enough, the employee is the hardest thing about business.
Yeah.
Well, they all grow a brain eventually, you know. Yeah. This
isn't what we do. That guy's Jacob Williams, just so you know.
Fish is putting out a lot of employees right now because they have trained them. They really do. I mean, around here anyway. I don't know about other areas, but then they just grow a brain. They realize, hey, I'm making 29%. I can go do this on my own. So they're producing all the new companies right now because they're training.
You talking about fish? Or you talking about
yeah. Local fish companies around here because they're training probably 10 guys each side of town. So that's 20 new window cleaners every year. You know what I mean? Wow.
And they make you sign a non-compete clause for you.
Yeah, but non-competes aren't really worth anything.
Exactly.
They really aren't. I mean,
it's a little bit of protection, but let me tell you, this is what I notice about the fish around me. And no offense to you, Steve, you obviously don't have great experience with them.
Right.
But they have taken what I would consider the art of window cleaning and thrown it out the window. They give these guys substandard tools. And they don't care if this guy's going to a house and it takes him 5 hours that any of us could do it in 2, because it doesn't matter. The guy is making $35, $40, $50, $75 on that house. They're making, 60% on that. And they don't give a shit if he wipes everything because he can't squeak your window. You understand?
Right.
he would never make a living doing route work where I am. Never. He can't produce enough.
Right. You can't.
You know, and those guys come and go. I mean, I'm sure the turnover rate is astronomical.
Oh yeah, I was there only for a year and only done storefronts for a year, and I was training people. I in no way should have been training people, but it's just they had such a high turnover. When I got there, there was a guy that worked there that had been a window cleaner for 30 years, done high rise, everything. Guy was great storefronts, but just really hard headed, about 60 years old, and like had his ways down. Only spent a certain amount of time at jobs if they were a certain price. So that's what I started getting used to, was like, if something was $65 or was way underpriced, I would spend about 50 minutes there, because I was pretty happy with like right around like $1 a minute, like when I was working for fish. But then after that, it was horrible. But I know the crazy thing is that the franchise fees and then all their insurance takes up 50% of what they bring in there. But the owners are always going to make 20% no matter what every year. And that's why exactly what you're saying. It doesn't matter what you do at the job or how long it takes to get done. They don't care, because they're always they always know what they're going to make by just looking at the computer. It's never a toss-up.
You know what, Steve? If you take that 50% and then tie that into having to have a physical address, you can't have a home office type thing. How are they making any money? I mean, I know what my market pays, and I know they're taking jobs out here for, I won't say dirt cheap, average prices from what I understand. Okay. But you think about this. In Florida, we have a 7% sales tax. Then you have to give them 7%, right? I think that's the fee. Okay. Then you've got to have that overhead of the offices and everything. I'm like, what is left? What are you getting out of this?
They're doing 50 cents a side, and I've seen a dime a side. They're doing cheap work around here. You know, she's trying to sell that franchise for $250,000 too. Like, who would buy that?
Hey, all you gotta do is, the solution to every problem is a kickstand. You put a kickstand on it, it solves everything.
Dude, you know what? I want a kickstand. I want a kickstand for my truck. I want a kickstand for my water-fed pole. I want a kickstand for a squeegee if it wouldn't get in the way.
Yeah.
I mean, why do you got to put that thing in a gunslinger? You could put it on the shelf.
Maybe you can integrate
the
kickstand into the handle where it kind of folds out. You know what I mean? It like kicks off the side. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I just think everything should. I think I might put a kickstand on this jersey. I might put a kickstand on my iMac too, just so it, extra protection in case.
It's brilliant.
If I want to lean it over the other way, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey man, if you're ever trying to save your business, just
put a kickstand.
Go for a kickstand.
Well, I'll tell you what, I got one too. I am going to put a kickstand on my kickstand.
Oh, hey,
yeah. That's like, remember, I'm going to make a screen washer. Yeah. So I can wash my screen washer before I put it away. But then I need a screen washer. My shit's going in the van dirty. Fuck that.
Yeah. Hey, actually, we have somebody asked a question about a van. Where is it? Somebody asked about, Jason Lehman he wants to know how your Ram ProMaster is.
Oh, it's awesome.
He likes it.
It's great.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's just the ladder racks on top of the ones that with a pole, you bring them onto the side, and it's really easy to get those down. Yeah. But it's just, I've never had something where you could have everything with you every day. I used to work out of a F-150 at Tacoma, then an older F-150, and never have I been able to just put my RODI system, stand it up, have all the hoses and the reels in a separate area. Got 4 water-fed poles for different jobs, just in there ready to go, brushes ready to go. Where I used to, when I lived in an apartment, take all this up to my apartment every night, bring it all back down in the morning.
Do you have a full assortment of brush holders?
What do you mean?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you need to put those brushes in brush holders.
Brush holders.
Oh, I just hang them on a hook on the back wall.
No. You gotta buy
Steve, can you make a video about that, please?
Yeah, I'll make a video about
it. I got a question for you.
Can you make a brush holder video for us, dude?
That's where I hook my brushes.
Well, I've heard you're pretty good at videos. So.
Don't let the bristle touch bristle to bristle. Those will fold.
Yeah.
Dude, I got a question for you though.
Yeah.
A buddy of mine bought a Sprinter van, okay, and he washes windows, and he gets these big DI tanks, and he ratchet straps them up against, it has cargo hold downs.
Right.
Is the the Dodge one, that you have a 2-walled van, meaning an outside and an inside? Because on a Sprinter van, dude, he ratchet strapped DI tanks against one of the walls, and it beat the fuck out of the outside of the van.
Holy shit.
Like, dude, what happened to your van? He's like, the fucking tanks beat the shit out of my van.
Hey, Bill Jordan said you need to put a kickstand on your dick wind chimes, dude.
Yeah, you know what, dude? I'm buying stock in kickstands.
I actually have 5 pre-orders for the kickstanders, so whatever, dude.
It's just like I said. Yep, you want to stop that shit from leaking on your leg? Buy a kickstand. Let it leak on the floor.
You have. I mean, now that we're talking about it just a little bit. I mean, I think you might be the world record holder of Gunslinger purchasers. I mean, what one individual in window cleaning has bought more Gunslingers than you?
How many
you pretty much paid Richie Boo's entire salary for those.
No, he didn't. Richie didn't get shit.
How many did you actually purchase?
I purchased 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, 6.
But I got, I think, 2 for when that Thanksgiving deal happened. And then it was like 2 for, like, each one was 50 after the first one.
Right.
So that's how I bought those. And then all the PVC ones we've gotten have been free. Because for a little bit there, we got all those ones for that Thanksgiving, and they were just like the regular fabric. I have them over here, but I don't want to grab them.
Right.
And those leaked right away. My girlfriend's, she works for me, hers leaked right away. But then we got those PVC ones, and Perry was like, he like had to get on a video chat with me. And this was like around like Christmas time. And he's like, I really want to show you this design and everything. I'm like, why do you need to show it to me? Like, just send it to me. I'll check it out. Like, that's it. And we got on, and he was just like, he's fucking sporadic. It was like the weirdest conversation I've had with like anybody. And then sent me 3 PVC Gunslingers, and every single one of them leaks. They leak from the bottom. They leak from the backside. And the one thing I don't know with it, though, is that if it's just like so much water coming out and there's nowhere to soak it in the fabric, or like what it is with it. But the back of my, like the back part of the Gunslinger that faces my leg, I don't know how that gets water and then gets my leg wet.
It wicks up, but I'll tell you, Steve.
It's what it's doing is that back panel is filling up with water, and then it's leaking around right where it bends. That's been the problem with it from fucking jump.
Right.
He's never been able to fix that. And Richie knows this to be true. I told him the day I got my pre-order Gunslinger, I told him that day. I said, this is wrong right here. You guys aren't doing this like Richie did it. Right. And he just blew it off, and they're still doing the same thing.
See, so are you talking about where it tips, like the tip jar, that area, right that there, fold?
There's that fold on the back side of it. It leaks out right there for whatever reason. I don't know if that's 2 pieces or whatever they're doing right there. It leaks there. And my 1.1 does the same thing, but I refuse to use it because the dimensions have changed. It's not the same thing. You know that to be true, because if you got 1.1, you know what I'm talking about. It almost wrings the washer out as you're sticking it in. That's how tight it is. The dude's clueless. He doesn't know how to make window cleaning tools because he's not a window cleaner.
Yeah, he's not.
No. The pockets, were way smaller on the 1.1 than the 2 that I first got were fine.
How many prototypes do you have?
I just have that original black and yellow one, from Richie. And then after that, I didn't get anything. And like when I first made that like samurai video and talked about like leaking, that I thought the Gunslinger leaked, was because I was looking at that, and I was inside of a house one day. I had the tip jar on one side, the samurai on the other side, and I went to have like a pretty large mop, but all I'd ever put in there before was like, little flick squeegees and shit like that, where it's like a very thin mop. And I went in there inside of a house, and the thing just splashed everywhere. Right. So I was like, all right, fuck this, take this off. I'll just use the samurai. But then after I think I got the Gunslinger 2 weeks later, I put it on. I've never taken it off, from the out. And then, I'm so crazy. I'm so stupid. I wear 2 of them in a day. I don't know why, but
Tim's got a pre-order that works good too. It looks
my
all
first
fucked
one
up
did.
Now. It's all deformed and fucked up. It looks like an old bag of Lay's potato chips, but at least it don't leak.
Beat up.
My black fabric around the stitching is all gone on the tip jar part of my first one.
Yeah. Oh, your binding's gone?
the binding, yeah, it's totally like eaten away. And then with Alex's, because she was short enough, the whole bottom is rubbed off. I'll grab it. I'll show you.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I can't wait to see. I want another Gunslinger. What should I do? I don't know, Dave. I don't know. Ask Jersey.
Gamble?
I mean, you obviously came in the comments to blow Jersey. Jeez. No, I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you, Dave. Honestly, I don't, man. I don't know what to tell you, dude. Throw caution to the wind. If you buy a
my
Gunslinger,
God, look at that.
Oh, jeez.
Hey, Steve, do you have a rat problem that we don't know about? Do you store cheese in there? I got cheese in there.
Do you store cheese in there? Do you have?
Right?
Yeah. Jeez, man.
This, I don't know if you can. I think this is one I showed in a video one time, but how fucking dirty it is. Like, I know that could be our own fault as well for not like cleaning it often, but this one looked real good when we got it, and now it's just. I mean, there's not much you can do about that, but that bottom.
I've got the solution if anybody wants to hear
That's
it.
your thumbnail right
there.
Okay.
Steve, let me ask you a question. What type of soap do you prefer in washing windows?
Just Dawn soap.
Dawn soap. Okay. So normally you take a good 4-second squirt, right? Is that safe to say in a 5-gallon bucket or one of those 3-gallon rectangles? Good squirt, 3 gallons of water or so, right? That works for you?
Yeah, I do like
water
like
is
second.
Okay, 8 seconds. That's cool. You know,
I'm
to each his own.
Too, man.
I like the glide too, man.
Okay, so listen, the reason they leak is, aside from them being put together like shit, okay, the reason they leak is because water is a very thin solution, right? It's not much viscosity. So what I've done is I buy Dawn by the 55-gallon drum, and I'll put approximately 4 gallons of soap in my bucket and a squirt of water, much like you would soap, right? Yeah. So, dude, it's a bubble truck following me around, but I clean some. It don't leak. It weighs 800
pounds. You had me so into that story.
Yeah, fucking douchebag.
That's the art of the deal.
What a douche. What a douche. I was like waiting for the payoff, and then it was like, and it leak. I'm like, what? Come on, dude.
But I mean, the crazy thing is like his the first one I got, that one's still perfectly fine. The first one that Richie made, nothing, no fabric has come out of it. I mean, it's just like the day I got it. Yeah. So I save it now. I don't use it for work anymore because it's kind of cool to have. I think with everything that's going on.
Since you have multiple Gunslingers, have you considered stuffing one in the other so that when one leaks, it goes into the other, and then you got a couple hours before it's going to seep through that one. By the end of the day, you'll have 7 of them stacked up.
You got enough. You could actually do this.
One an hour.
Someone wants to know what's your honest opinion about the Samurai.
The Samurai, for me, it got to the point where after I used the Gunslinger, I didn't like the sound of the plastic being around anymore. I wore it for like a couple of days after wearing this for like 3 months. And then where you could put in, you were supposed to be able to put in like the combination squeegee, like the liquidator with the flick pad, it was real hard to stuff it in there. It just was really, really hard. So I couldn't really get that in there. It didn't drip. It dripped off the side. You didn't get that wet leg, but of course you got like the wet ankle, kind of wet calf and stuff. Right. But when I first tried it, it was the first bucket on a belt that did not soak my whole entire side of my leg. So like I like that, and that was because of the mop being placed outside. So I understood that point about it. Mm-hmm. But then I just didn't like. I brought it in a few houses. The buckle was way too long. So what I did is I took off that whole part and just put it on the Mowerman clip on that they have for theirs, and that worked fine. But it was just after I used the Gunslinger, I couldn't go back to anything else because it was so easy just to drop your tools and you just drop them in there. There's nothing of like messing around, and there's no this falling out when you're on top of the 20-foot ladder all the way down to the ground as you pick your mop out and it catches the squeegee. And so those things weren't happening. So I was like, it just makes it too easy just to go to the Gunslinger.
That's the thing, and that's what fucking makes him making the pockets small. Perry Tate's a fucking idiot. Okay, let's just start there. The reason, dude, it's so easy. It's so easy to use. There's no learning. Yeah. You just drop shit. You just blindly drop shit in it. You know what I mean? Bloop,
if he did everything right now, if he came back in, did the shit that the way Richie did, we all need gunslingers this year. We're all
Yeah.
ready to get
Dude, it's not
We
gonna
repurchased.
have to
happen.
because all the
Forget
ones we
about it.
pre-ordered are fucking garbage.
No.
Right. Dude, like
Not gonna happen.
that's
Not
how
gonna
you. I
happen.
mean,
Not gonna happen.
that's how. That's
He's not
the
gonna
only
get away
way.
from that fucking rice paper binding and that other garbage that he puts it together with. Okay, look. Hey, Steve, you bought some of the new.
What about the bad
fucking plastic
monsoon,
ones.
dude?
I've heard. Yeah, I've heard that you open them up and you practically get high. The things smell so
It's
fucking.
insane. The smell
it's-
is like WD-40 has been sprayed all in there
Yeah,
and
it's
enclosed real fast,
crazy.
saran wrapped, and then sent across the fucking
This is
world.
a reeker. This thing is reeking. Spray more blow. Fucking idiot.
It has to do the eyes when it does the voice.
Listen, this is the
It
thing.
has to do
This
the
is
eyes
the
when it
thing.
does the voice.
Now,
I-
did you
I
guys
don't-
ever figure out what it was? Like what that?
I know
that
what it
smell
is.
from?
He's
the
he's
digital
Scotch
printing.
guarding it. He's Scotch guarding them.
because that's the same thing comes in whenever you order an Outlaw shirt, the digital printing style. That's that same smell we get.
Is it
I
kind
don't
of the vinegary smell?
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, it's
So it's like
mine
it's a
smelled like
combination.
turpentine or something, like chemicals, like oil.
It smelled strong. It was sitting outside the whole day from being delivered, and we brought it in, and you could smell it before you even opened up
Dude,
the saran wrap.
before you even
Mine-
opened the
You
box.
might be right. He might have done
Mine-
something else today.
Yes.
Mine smelled like Kung Pao chicken for some reason.
What a fucking asshole, man! Why
Listen.
you gotta be a dick, dude?
Because I was born a dick. If you're gonna be
Yeah,
a
I
dick, be
know.
a big dick.
So, Mark, do you have any questions for Steve-O? I mean, you don't know Steve-O. You don't watch YouTube.
No,
videos.
not at all. And it's a pleasure to meet him. Like I said, I've heard good things about you. So, what do you see? What's the name of your company, first of all, Steve?
2020 window cleaning.
2020 window cleaning. So, what does the future hold for 2020 window cleaning? What direction are you going?
I think we're definitely going to go to. I mean, the guy who originally owned it since 1999. So like for us, we're at this good place where we're pretty like. He gets a lot of referrals. He's great with customers. So like it's just built up over the years. So I always tell people like when they ask me what to do for beginning window cleaning, I'm like, you know, like I kind of got in a different way. And for me to like tell you exactly what it's going to be like from the ground up, I can't really tell you. You know, like I was a worker. I was a worker bee. And then that's how I got into it and just being a good worker, and it kind of paid off, you know. And I've learned a lot about the business in doing that. But I mean, we don't spend any money on marketing anymore, or for like the last 5 years, we just haven't, because we haven't felt that need to like really do it. And we don't want to get to 10 people. I mean, I think the max what we do would be 6 people, and that'd be you can do so much work with 6 people. Especially if everybody's motivated and just go out every day and work.
If you're not making a living at 6, you ain't going to make it at 10.
No.
You know what I'm saying? If you can't streamline what you have, then no, that's pretty cool. So you do pressure washing as well, or just strictly window?
No, we don't do pressure washing. Yeah, we don't even hardly clean tracks.
Really?
We don't clean tracks on houses. Pressure washing we like pretty much stay away from unless it's like a driveway. But we don't have any of that type of gear. Our pressure washer is literally like this small 1600 psi electric pressure washer we use for screens. Then we have an old Hotsy. It's just enough to clean screens with, and that's how we do it. That it works perfectly. But we just kind of strictly stay to Windows, and it makes everything real simple. Everyone knows what their job is. And I mean, I do most of the commercial, and then he does most of the residential. I love storefronts. If I could later on in my life, I would just work by myself doing storefronts. I think it's the easiest, just like most chill day, listen to your music, talk to different people all day long. It's nice.
The storefronts are nice because, number one, you got to do a lot of them. So you're gonna lose, you're gonna gain, you're gonna lose, you know. And if someone gives you an issue, you just move on. Goodbye, find someone else, you know.
Yep.
It's not going to change your life, you know.
Power Wash Plus says Mark smelled like cream of some young guy.
It could be.
Stop it. What's up, Mike the Glass Guy?
Years,
Fernando Trevino.
Mike.
And for everyone that was wondering, Jason Lehman was first. What's up, Masters at Wagtail? Who's that guy? Marcus Bay. What up?
Hi, Marcus.
Acme Window Cleaning says that storefronts ruled. Back in the day when Richie was young enough to do windows, storefronts ruled. He's like, fucking, how old is Fonzie now? I mean, it's been a long time since Happy Days.
70. Yeah. I got to say, you probably adhere to what you learned with. Like, I remember starting with my dad, and he would be banging on my door of my apartment at 4:30 in the morning. Come on, let's go. We got a route to do. And just sitting there and going out and when it was dark and seeing a couple other window cleaners and the innocence of it back then. So, like I have a small route in my neighborhood, 5 or 6 storefronts, and I just love to get up early and go take care of them because it brings the innocence back to the.
Yeah,
I don't think
too,
about.
Man.
Yeah.
There's a spot. I know you. I showed. I did. I don't know if anybody that follows me on Instagram. I did the International Oddfellows building, downtown. It's in like kind of like a old school Masonic order type of like a men's club, whatever. I don't know much about it, but it's just 4-story building downtown, and I did that. But that downtown right there, I have a route in that we've had since 2004. The same stores. And that's my favorite thing to do is get up, especially in the spring and summer, get up super early in the morning and go do those windows downtown right on the lake. There's nothing like that. Nobody's around. It's just you cleaning glass. Yep. It's quiet. It's awesome. And you're right. There's just something innocent about it. Just like, I'm just out here doing my thing.
You don't make a lot of money on it, but you just go out there and no one's bitching. You just watch them. Yeah.
I literally do 7 storefronts. 7. That's what I do. Yeah. And they're all, cool. 5 of them are trade out.
Dude, if I lived in a cold climate like y'all do, I would have a lot more than 7 storefronts because they go year round, man. I don't care.
Yeah. It's great.
But I have nowhere to fit. Like I work today. I'm working 7 days a week, keep up with residential at this point. Easter rush right now, So everybody.
Is it just you and your son, Tim?
Right now, yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't
and then we break up. We're going to break off in 2 weeks, and then I got a guy starting Tuesday or Wednesday that's going to come out and get him rolling. So I'm going to go try 3 crews this year. Yeah. We're just going to get behind the 8 ball though. We always do every year this time of year. You can't do anything about it.
We had a horribly slow winter.
We did too.
It was horrible.
Yeah, we did.
We're behind. Yeah. We're for sure behind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're still. First thing you gotta do is we sell a lot online and stuff like that. So some people have paid last fall and still haven't had service because of the gutter season and stuff like that. So that money's probably gone at this point. You know what I mean? So now you're going out there. You gotta get those free jobs done.
I got a couple. I have a building. At the end of every year, I'm like considered a preferred vendor because I've been there so long, like 15 years. And so they'll call me up around November, December and say, hey, man, you've done your 4 cleanings. We did the awnings. We did the pressure washing. And we need to add another cleaning, which basically means they have more money in the budget and they want to get it for next year.
Right.
And so I'm like, well, we're not going to get to it till next year. And they're like, just send us a bill. I send them a bill. You get that big fat check, and it's the best check to take to the bank. And then after you deposit it, and it starts to flow out of the account because of the overhead. And then you physically have to go do the job and not get paid. There's nothing fucking worse than that. I hate that.
Well, we're done with them now. We finished those off Thursday. So, we just add them onto the routes as we go when we're in the area. So they're gone out of the way, and we're just trucking now, man.
So people will pay you before you even come out to do the service?
I'll go to sleep tonight and I'll wake up with probably $800 extra in the account.
Oh wow! We've never had that happen once.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that happens.
We sell online. We sell power packages online.
Oh. Okay.
For residential and stuff like that. People they'll go in and buy them and set up schedule. So, yeah, we
What's
do
your
probably.
Sorry.
No, we do about $50,000 a year off our website, just off the web store on our website.
That's surprising, though, man. I would never pay for something unless you were Tim. If you came to my house and cleaned my windows, and I did it once a year, I'd pay in advance if we had a relationship. But never knowing you or what you're going to do, I would never fucking pay for that shit in advance.
Yeah.
All the time. Like we'll wake up, we'll sell
hell no. You need to bring that skinny ass in my house and show me something.
It's just, you learn doing it because we grew up on the Groupon. That's how we built our residential Groupon, Angie's List, stuff like that. So we wanted to compete against them. I wanted to fight against them, so I built my own website, my own web store to promote against them on Facebook. Well, that's kind of taken over, and we can get rid of got rid of Angie's List, and we're still dangling on Groupon a little bit.
Let me ask you, how many people do it one time?
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead, Mark. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
My wife is a Groupon. You know, like we skydived with the Groupon, right? So I'm like, well, is the motherfucking plane gonna have a prop on the motherfucker?
The last fucking thing I would ever do. The last thing I would ever do in life is fucking skydive on Groupon, bro. That shit ain't never happening ever.
There's those
you, dude.
There's those cheap motherfuckers over there. Don't pack the chute too tight, you know.
Dude,
don't pack
what
the extra
fuck?
chute.
Yeah,
we're going skydiving. Oh yeah, I got a Groupon. Fuck you.
Well, no, my question, Tim, is that how many people? I know you upsell them once you're there with the Groupon. You have to, but are there return customers, and do they want that Groupon rate again? Because, dude.
No, we got them to our web store with our cards and stuff, and we give them a discount on our web because we kind of compete with our pricing on Groupon. If that makes sense. So we're kind of on our web store, and then we offer a 10% discount. You go on our web store, right? I mean, so we're getting them. We're doing really well, and we've always done well. My background is all customer service, man. So I go in there and I'm talking their ears off. I'm schmoozing them, doing all that. You know, that's the you got to get that appeal with the residential homes. They start to trust
some of them,
you.
You come to my motherfucking house. I had a guy show up at my house. Before, when my kids were born, we had carpet in the house, right? And it was saving up to rip all the carpet out and put down.
Here's the carpet cleaning story for the third time. Continue, please.
Listen,
I haven't heard
that. Was
Steve-O hasn't heard it.
My wife gets the fucking neighborhood rag paper, and it's like any 3 rooms, $75, right? So I bring this guy in, shows up with a big, fantastic van, and he goes, I go, listen. We just want to do the kids' bedroom. We'll call this long hallway a bedroom, right? And the living room. And he's like, I go, so that'll be $75, right? And he goes, yeah. And he goes, well, you have dogs, so we need to treat. I go, listen to me. This carpet's coming out in 6 months if I have my way. I said, but I want my kids crawling around on dirty carpet, right? So one guy's walking around with the fucking clipboard, and I'm like, what the fuck is this yutz doing in my fucking house, right? He's walking around, he's on the phone, right? And the other guy's unrolling the fucking hose, right? And I'm standing there watching this, and he goes to me, okay, Mr. Tanner, he says, we're going to pre-treat, we're going to Scotch guard, we're going to do this fucking enzyme cleaning, all this shit, and it's going to come to $475. I go, what happened? Where'd that other $400 come from? Motherfucker's supposed to collect $75, $100 with the tip, right? And he goes, hang on a minute. Let me call the boss back. I know he's fucking faking. The bitch is on the phone, and he's like, tell you what, if you sign up today, we'll do it for $350. And I go, well, wait a minute. If you were going to do it, you're going to do it for less. What are you taking back from me? I'm in business too. If someone wants me to cut the price, I got to take something back. You know what I'm saying? Or were you gouging me? And no. You need to do this. You need to do that. I go, you know what? I'll tell you what we're going to do. You can roll that motherfucking hose up and roll your fucking van off my driveway, or I'm giving you $75 and clean my fucking shit.
It's not like that though. It's like when we roll up to a place, man. You think about when we're window cleaners and we roll up at somebody's house. They're waiting on us. I have people follow me around. They just love what we do. So they're the ones talking with us. So we're just doing the gift of gab as we're there. And my prices are out front, bro. Dude, my prices are completely out front.
I just see you pulling up in a van and the side door opens like Spicoli and the fucking fog of smoke gets out. Dude! We're here to clean your windows, dude.
Bro. It's all about the window cleaning, man. Hey, Jersey wants to know what your workout routine is, Steve-O.
Oh, I don't work out.
He doesn't work out?
No, I try to go like 2-3 times a week now. I used to be way more into it, but I hurt my back so bad that that's more important for work than going to work out. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I try to just keep active. I broke my shoulder like 6 years ago, and if I don't do just like a little bit more than work as far as keeping it active, it freezes up, cramps up. So I try to go a few times a week.
Yeah, you picked a crazy career for a broken shoulder, didn't you?
Oh, I broke my shoulder, 6 months after I worked at Fish doing jiu-jitsu. A fucking guy picked me up. I'd done jiu-jitsu for like 10 years, just as a hobby, just for fun. And there's this asshole in our class went to pick me up. And usually, I mean, a guy picks you up in class, he just like calmly puts you down, and then you start rolling again. He just tried to dunk me on my head. My left arm was underneath, and right as we went down, it was like slow motion. It was either my neck or my arm, and I put my arm out. My whole shoulder popped out of place. I remember seeing my arm right here and just flop back all by itself. So the ball that goes into that joint in the shoulder, that cracked in half.
Nope.
And then it
Ow.
popped out and then went under my like rib cage and hooked in there.
Oh shit, dude.
So like the back of my shoulder here doesn't grow, which is really weird. And then I just have this like consistent pain in here. And then I got 4 big screws and a plate. But yeah, I mean,
Did you beat his ass afterwards?
Couldn't. Couldn't do. This guy was a badass, but it was funny. 6 months later, I'm back into cleaning windows, and I go to this house where I was working for Fish, and the guy winds up being a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu coach. And I'm talking to him, so we talk about this story. He's like, where did it happen? And I tell him where it happened. He goes, what was the guy's name? I tell him the guy's name. Literally, this guy broke an arm of a kid at his school as well and got thrown out of there.
Wow.
Yeah. He's just one of those dicks that just, always had a big ego. And if you were to get him once, the next time he was going to make sure you paid. And that it just wound up. I've never gone back since because I figure if I broke this again,
is for guys who like smell other guys sweat horrible.
Yeah, it's
Listen,
awesome.
bro.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is, you can say all you want, but in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you can fucking snatch the soul out of someone's body. I want you to know that. You are going to sleep or snapping something off.
It's changed fighting completely. Completely changed fighting.
Break something off and shove it directly in your ass, dude.
I'm so fucked.
I know
I know
there's a lot of guys out there that I know there's a lot of people out there that like striking, boxing and kickboxing, and I took Taekwondo. That shit's cool, but Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is that levels the playing field. A little guy can. I've seen little dudes fuck up big dudes that knew how to fuck a fight on the ground. You know what I mean?
Right.
All of my coaches were like 150 and just whoop everybody's ass. It didn't matter who it was. Just whoop your ass so
killers.
fast.
What belt are you?
Just a 3-stripe black belt. No,
are you a coral belt, you beast?
I got a blue belt. Okay. I was never. I'll be honest. Like I love the aggressive part of it, the wrestling part. But as far as understanding all the moves and the technique, I am not the most technical and stuff with that kind of stuff. So for me, if I won, it was just because I got angry and tried to squeeze the guy's head or stuff like that. I did a couple just fun competitions. Didn't really do that well. I had one that I did well in, but I get so nervous with stuff like that. Yeah, especially going to a competition, a bunch of people watching you. That just freaks me out, and I just do shit.
I did. I approached Taekwondo the same way. You know what I mean? It was really haphazardly. You know what I mean? I could do some of the techniques, but I was just there was a few that I liked that I could do really well, and I focused on those. You know what I mean? All the other shit, I was like, I can't do that. I was never going to be doing the splits. Head kicks wasn't happening too often with me. There's only a certain few kicks that I could throw and get it up there.
It is a nice thing to know, though, and if you did get in with someone, you don't need to punch someone to stop them, and that's the nice part about it is you know how to I got to a point where I finally knew what to do in a situation. Worked as a bouncer for all of college. And worked at a bar where we just have fights all the time. And it was fun being able to know how to put a guy to sleep and then wake him back up and be like, all right, man, it's time to go. So, yeah.
I agree with you, Mario. BJJ might be a little worth. I don't know. You say it's worthless in the streets, but I don't know about all that. I had some guy tell me that wrestling wasn't no good in the streets either, but after I picked him up and dropped him on his head, and he just threw a bucket of water working for me that up. He wasn't trying to box or nothing. He was trying to hold the back of his head. He was like, "Ow!"
I had a kid working for me that I hired him straight out of the Air Force, and his discipline was wrestling, and he had wrestled his whole life, almost made it into the Olympics. And he could throw you to the ground and be on top of you faster than anything. And I actually flew up where he lives now because I promised him if he ever, started fighting again, I'd come up to one of his fights. So I go to upstate New York and to watch him. And he was just a little guy, but man, motherfucker he'd get you to the ground and you're in fucking trouble, dude.
Dude, the grappler guys are the worst because the only time I'm fighting, I'm drunk.
Yeah.
So, you know?
Yeah, you got to stay away.
I'm the type.
You gotta,
I'm the type that I want to. I don't mind socking somebody in the eye hole. You know what I mean? That's fun. But then you get infected knuckles, and then you got to pay dental bills. You got to have them stitched up and shit. It's much easier just to get them on the ground and get them to be like, get off me, dude. Yeah, it's way cooler, dude.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you're on the
Hey,
ground
Philip
going,
Alexander has the Kevlar sim belt 72 feet, cannot get near me, dude. That's the one right there, bro. I feel it.
You guys haven't met Philip yet?
No,
I have not met Philip in person.
I met Philip. Yeah, I met Philip at the convention, the huge convention this past year. And the thing is that I've known of Philip for a long time. I really didn't know about the whole Simpole thing until he told me when I was there. But like, he used to go on all my videos and just put his website up there. But every single time someone does that, it gets flagged. So I go look in like all of my flags, and it's just Philip Alexander one after another. So I went up to him and talked to him at the convention. Didn't realize it was him at first. And then he said, "Well, if you want to buy that Simpole over there, here's my card." He was trying to sell me the Simpole at first time I met him.
Right.
And then I got his card, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, "That's that motherfucker who put his website on my videos all the time." So I went right back up to him. I said, "Do you remember putting your stuff all over my videos?" He goes, "Yeah, it's because you were cleaning outsides with the squeegee. You should have been using a water-fed pole."
He's so fucking hilarious, dude.
He's great.
I tell you what, I got a Simpole, and I've got sections 1 through 8, and that fucking thing's badass, dude. He's an eccentric. Yeah, he's an eccentric dude. He's like out of this world, but dude, the fucking pole. I mean, it's badass, man. It's a nice fucking pole. He's just weird as shit, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna ride his coattail. Steve-O's gonna let me tag his videos.
Yeah.
So stupid.
I just thought it was so funny because like, I never go into the area where you can find where like there's spam or whatever in your videos. And I go in there and it's just all him with all his website links, and I'm like, holy shit.
Dude, he's a trip, man. Philip's definitely a different kind of dude, man. You gotta appreciate a feller like that. Oh boy, Philip.
He's on it.
I don't even know what to say.
What?
So, Steve, how's the market in Colorado for window cleaning? You have a lot of competition up there.
Yeah, tons. I mean, I was out in our main area is Boulder, Colorado, and that area is just like consistently thriving and just building with new homes and stuff like that. So like that's our best area. And you go down there on one of the main streets with all the malls and stuff, and you'll go down on a Thursday, Friday morning, and you'll see 10 other window cleaners cleaning storefronts.
Wow,
yeah. So, and there's just a lot of companies around here, and they're all great companies. I'll be quite honest. I mean, I even meet some of the fish guys around town. Everybody's very respectful and nice, and there's a lot of companies we work with when like we're too busy, we send them work. If they're too busy, they send us work. So there's there's a very good camaraderie around everybody, and it's
that adds a lot of value to your business when there's respect.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But it's a crazy area. I mean, it's kind of a side story to it, but like this year I've been trying to like maximize our Google reviews, and then we had our first anal customer who tried to fuck up all of our Yelp, Google, Nextdoor, everything.
Wow, really?
Yeah, she put check it out sometime. Go to our business on Google, 2020 window cleaning in Bertha, Colorado, and you'll find a Google review that it's like this long. I mean, it's 10 paragraphs. I mean, just talking mad shit about us. And basically what happened is a mirror in her bathroom got chipped somehow. She called us 2 weeks later about it. And our one guy who's in there worked for us for 12 years, said never did it. There were people working in the bathroom when we got there on all the tile work and the bathtub. And of course they didn't do it. And this is what I think, to be quite honest. So this guy we ever worked for, he's a Mexican. My girlfriend was in the house. The two guys that were working there are all Caucasians. Never does the lady mention anything about them. Only blames our guy for it. Never talks about my girlfriend being there. She went through the whole entire house, removed all the screens, cleaned windows as well. Never mentions her. But the one girl who was like the assistant for the house. I mean, this is a huge, nice house. just kept on emailing me time after time after time. You broke this. We need to find some sort of resolve the situation. And I straight up told her the first time, I said, we did not break that. There are other people working in the house. Like, there's a lot of situations that could happen here. And she just did not want to listen to it. They knew they were right. They had tons of money. If we wanted to go to court with them, they would go to court with us.
Yeah.
We haven't
You ain't
paid
gonna
them.
win that.
Yeah, I don't know. And it's not going to help us at all. It's going to be a waste of time. It's going to be a waste of money. Because no matter what, it's just, it was a horrible situation. But it comes back to like how all of a sudden these people writing Google reviews and stuff feel like they can fuck up your business. And that's straight up what she said to us. If you do not pay us for half of the mirror, we are going to write bad reviews on every single social media outlet we can to try to ruin your business. Yeah, that's exactly what she said.
Dude. That, and there's no, and this is I know because I went through nothing. A guy just made shit up and left bad reviews on my Facebook page and my Google page, and there's not shit you could do about it. You can't dispute it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You can't. I mean, you could get on there and say whatever you want, but I mean, you know how hard it is to fuck with Google. Jesus, man, it's almost impossible to set one of those things up to where you can manage your own shit. You know what I mean? That's hard enough to do. You know what I mean? Let alone try to be like, hey, man, this isn't a real review. This is some dude pissed off that I think he's a retard. You know what I mean? What do we do about this? You know what I mean?
Does it give you opportunity? Does it give you an opportunity to rebuke what she says publicly?
No. So like if the profile was somebody that wasn't that name or had, because you could report it, but it has to be that it's not the customer's name and that they can't, somehow link it back to that person with that email address, blah, blah, blah. And we can go down that route. All we did was reply. And basically after going back and forth there for like 3 months about the whole thing, we just replied with, never. Jim replied, never in like 25 years of the business has he had such a difficult customer. And we just wrote a message to the rest of our customers like, give us a chance. This is not what we do.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. Honestly,
yeah.
What piece of equipment would a window cleaner have that would chip a mirror?
If I could show you the picture right here, I would show you. It is the smallest, tiniest little chip. And it's recessed. Like this mirror is not like out. It's recessed on like a granite counter. Yeah. I mean, you would have had to like take the corner of your squeegee and hit it perfectly for this to happen.
Yeah. And a brass or aluminum, even a stainless channel is really not hard enough to do that.
Yeah. And it was an $800 mirror. That's what they tried to tell us. Yeah. $800 for install, put some LED lights back behind it is like, and they had it installed 2 days before. It's like, just call the company, tell them there's a crack on it. They would replace it for free, I bet.
Yeah. No. It could have been there when it was installed. I mean,
exactly.
I fixed a lot of glass that hasn't even been installed, but it was special ordered for a customer. And they're like, we can't put this in this guy's house. Come to our shop and fix it before. And those are always great because, they're never going to know it was there versus working in someone's house. Those are my favorite kind of repairs. And you know what? The glass industry specifically says if you can't see a scratch or a chip or a flaw in a mirror or a piece of glass from 5 feet, it doesn't exist. So they've got leeway there. Right. It's just like when someone says, well, we put acid on it and hazed the window because the tin side was on the outside. Well, I tried to explain that to some yuts on pro window cleaning. He started freaking arguing with me. I'm like, dude, understand something. It's acceptable in the glass industry to have the tin side out. It's wrong, but it's acceptable. They've covered their bases. And the glass industry is 100 times bigger than anything that we're doing here. We have no power in this. You're done. You're done. You shouldn't have done that. But
Yeah, man, that's crazy, dude.
Yeah, I just read that review.
Did you read it?
Yeah,
it's crazy, huh?
Yeah.
Crazy.
People, that was probably the best response you can do is just, let's prove to you at that, know.
And she put that on Yelp. She put that on next door.
Yeah, but you gotta let crazy be crazy.
Dude.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, she's talking about her kid's Lego set being broke too. I mean, like not even just about a mirror. She's talking like all kinds of shit.
Yeah, dude. You've gotta let crazy be
That's
crazy.
Unfortunate.
You just gotta let it.
Yeah. We hope it doesn't affect anything, but it's like it's hard to know. It's like
right. Yeah, it's
I don't know.
Difficult to tell. You don't know what that's gonna what kind of adverse effect that's gonna have. You don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
what can you do? And Philip is
And
taking
I've
over
got
the comments with links.
I've got
Fucking
11
Phillip,
I've got
man.
1100 A's on Angie's list, but I have 200 F's. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah, I mean it happens. You get those. And especially when you're using subs. You feel me? Like if you can't be on the job, you're not controlling any of your reviews. You know,
Yeah.
you're allowing other people to do that, and a lot of times they're not gonna have your integrity. They're not gonna have your work stamina. They're not gonna have any of that. You know what I mean? They're not gonna take care of the customer like you're going to. So you're gonna get the bad shit. Just let it roll off because you're gonna get 100 good ones again. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh yeah.
So when you go out and you put both your gunslingers on, I watch your videos and you have a lot of fucking tools. But what's the tool? What's Steve-O's go-to? I mean, what do you have on you 90% of the time? What are you using to clean windows with?
Oh man.
There's got to be one. Like I've always got my 16-inch brass squeegee. I use it like fucking every day. You know what I mean? Is there like something? That's my door squeegee.
I have to say two because I always have these two on me. Is a Pulex Lumimax and then a 14-inch brass head array with a Legis handle. That's the two that I always have that always I can just trust, do the job, and I never have to worry. I mess around with a lot of different. I get bored. In the day, so I'll just go grab like an Under Ninja and play around with that for a couple hours, and then go back to my Pulex for a little bit. I know you guys don't maybe like that flick thing, but I love that thing. I mean, that thing for pole work and storefronts is just so quick. It's amazing. But I go between fanning on a pole to straight pulls. Whatever is quicker for that window is what I try to do.
Yeah.
Unless I'm being just like
I can't fan. I can't do it. It's like it would be me retraining myself, so I can't even do it.
It took me a long time to feel comfortable with it to do it at stores. Right. I sucked at it until Luke made that modification of the accelerator, putting the brass edge array in it.
Is that what Luke does with on the pole, the fan? Is that what that is? Is that what that's called? I call it the Luke.
Well, Bob like came up with that like whole technique of like closing the two sides and then fanning the middle. And then I tried it for a long time. It would always mess up. But I would come back like the next month, look at the windows, be like, "Wow, I'm surprised I didn't find that." And then keep on working on it, and it got to the point where it was real easy. I just use a 14-inch. I just cut down my 18-inch head array into that, and that's what I use until that's just done. And that's what I use for it. But it saves time in houses with like the half moons, and then you can set that thing to like 10 degrees for skylights, pull a skylight. There's like a lot of different things you can do with it to make, I think, life a lot easier with anything, really.
I'm going to try one. Seth Byers is supposed to be sending me a handle one of these days. I'm supposed to get that flippity-doodah handle. I'm supposed to
the flickity-doodah. That's the new name of it.
I'm going to get the flickity-doodah deal for it, and I'm going to, the little pad, but I'm going to use my own channel because I'm not down with the Liquidator channel. I'm not down with the clowns.
I'll tell you what I love, though. I love the Unger 0 degree swivel. And you actually, when you started using that in videos, I didn't know how to use it. And I saw you using it. I was like, I got to learn that thing because that thing is sweet. So that I started learning after I saw you do it. I was like, that just looks sick. I just got to figure it out. So then I started using it, and I love it for any restaurant where there's a big table right in front. That's all I use anymore.
Yeah, it's money, dude. It's fucking money. Hey, I'm chubby, so I ain't trying to climb on shit. You know what I mean? So you gotta figure out a way to work around that. So exactly. I just started, using. I'm most proficient with the 12-inch one. I'm getting almost as good with the 18 inches I am with the 12, but I don't put it on video very often because I screw up sometimes, and I'm like, shit. And, I don't, not because of ridicule. I just get, visibly you see me get pissed. I'm like, shit. So sometimes I, sometimes it makes videos, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know, but dude, the dude that showed me how to use that thing, I didn't even know those things existed. And then he's like busted this thing out. It had a dial on the front of it instead of the knob. It had a dial. And he's like, here, I got an extra one. We're going to do these skylights so we don't have to climb up into the rafters at this mall. What we have to do, we take the 45-foot lift all the way up, and then it would come right about this far away from the steel girder trusses, and then we'd have to climb up on top of the rail in the basket. Of course, we had safety harnesses on, but we'd climb up on the second or third top rail of the basket to get the windows. You know, I mean, there's no other way to do it. And then he was like, man, I got this tool, I'm going to try it out. And then ever since then, man, I don't know, I guess, you know, it's just you use something and adapt it to other things, you know what I mean? I was like, well, if I can do that with Skylight, I don't have to climb into these booths anymore. It's just going to make me quicker. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's all it was, is just quicker.
Yep. And the angle right where they have the joint where it moves, I think is the perfect placement. I think the Ederay 0 degree doesn't work like that, and the Mormon doesn't work like that, to the point where that one and it's light and it's easy to use.
Yeah, it's gangster, man. I just need a pad on it. I just need to put a pad on it and I'm good to go, dude. Right?
I think the pad, I put the pad on and it fucked it up. It's too heavy.
Did it really? It wasn't cool?
Yeah, I just mop it, change tools, use that, and it's perfect. Yeah, there's no.
I can't get away from, like, I know, I mean, I don't, most of the stuff I do, like, repetitively is like restaurants and restaurant glass. You're not flickety doo down restaurant glass. You gotta mop. You gotta scrub the shit out of this. I don't know what is in fingerprints at McDonald's, but dude, I don't know
chicken
what
nuggets.
it is. Dude. No, dude, it's like some kind of spaceship. Like you could use like you could 3 gallons of ammonia and a squirt of soap, and that shit ain't coming off. You're fucking scrubbing on it. You need a hammer and a chisel to get fingerprints off.
You don't realize you didn't get it until you stand 10 feet away, and then it's still there.
Right.
It's the mixed print. Yeah.
It's straight on. It looks good. You get it back about 2 feet. Looks great. Then you walk around, and then you're on a window across and then you look, and you're like, son of a bitch. And you got to go back over there because it's still there, man.
Do you ever try to pre-treat it with like a simple green or like something else, and then go around and scrub everything?
I used to
do
do that
often.
I used to do that. I thought that was, and then I went from simple green back to a little extra ammonia and my soap solution and pre-spray handprints and stuff. But like, I've got a burger joint that you literally, the blue or white Scotch-Brites will not take the handprints off. You gotta wreck a piece of steel wool because it's good for about 20 minutes before it rusts.
Right.
I literally have to scrub it with steel wool, and it's handprints, this big from like 2-year-old hands. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, oh my God. I mean, sometimes I do it 3 or 4 times to get them to go away. It's brutal.
There's a restaurant that I do in the wintertime bi-weekly, and in the summer months and spring I do once a week, that even when I'm doing it once a week, I have to use a bronze wool pad doodlebug on every single window. I have to bronze pad every window, or I'm going to be there for hours trying to rub. I mean, what do you do, man?
Dude, have any of you ever cleaned do you have Boston markets up there?
Yes.
No.
Yeah, I've cleaned.
Okay, have you ever cleaned a Boston market?
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, dude, I was doing 5 Boston markets, right? So you get there, they put the tables up against the glass, right? Yeah. The backsplash of the table is the window. Yes. So I pulled the tables. I pull like 5 tables out at a time. Chicken bones, freaking shit on the floor, right? So then you start washing, and you realize that the windowsill is furniture. It's a stained piece of wood. So you got to wipe the shit out of that, right? And you're scrubbing the handprints off. And then I just leave the tables out. Well, one day the manager goes, hey, man, are you going to clean that up? And I'm like, clean what up? He's pointing at the ground. I'm like, oh, the 2 chicken legs and the chicken bone? Hell no, I ain't picking that up. I go, but I left the table out so your guys could. He's like, oh, no, the other guy used to. I ain't touching that shit, man. And because the table is on the glass, you literally got to scrape it. You got to, I mean, God knows what's on that window.
I found 2 weeks ago, I found a $20 bill. I pulled out a booth at Applebee's. I've been doing Applebee's for, I don't know, since I started cleaning windows. That's how long I've been doing it. But I pulled the booth out. There's a $20 bill laying there, and I gave it to the cleaning lady.
Oh, you're nice.
Fuck, I see my second naked dude today.
What?
Fucking, I see my second naked fucking gay dude today.
Yeah.
Like, I hear all these stories.
You sound excited about that.
Yeah, he's like, dude, yes.
No, I can't believe it's this long in the podcast and I haven't said anything. Like everybody else sees
Yeah.
naked chicks or
He
housewives.
just blurted that shit
I
out
get-
too. He's
I
like,
get gay naked dudes.
Yeah.
Tim's like, I see my second
one
gay
today.
naked dude.
Well, you know what, Tim? Like, here's the fucked up thing. The other day, my wife was looking for something. I don't remember what it was, but she was looking for something like you could buy at Bed Bath & Beyond, and then immediately on Facebook, all these ads for that same product show up. So my question to you is, Tim, what have you been looking at online?
That's great, dude.
It's just unbelievable. Like I've only thing I've ever seen naked in a house is dudes.
I've seen a really old lady naked, and that wasn't cool.
Oh,
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a
That's bad.
PSA to do real quick, T, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Okay, so those of you that use Facebook, if you get a friend request from someone that has no friends in common, and it's usually a girl, and there might be 2 pictures of her on there, and they're the same picture, do not accept it. Okay.
Yeah.
I let all my friend requests they sit and saturate for about a week before I even go through them. I won't even start until then because I gotta see who's in common. Then I have to go look at the page, and if not, you get porn shit.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, Steve-O, I have a question for you. What does Steve-O do when he's not cleaning windows?
He
Bowling?
makes profiles and sends them to guys for friend requests.
Yeah.
Porn on them.
Porn on him.
Bowling. God, I spend a lot of freaking time doing the video shit. It's too much fucking time, really. I spend most evenings doing billing and talking to other window cleaners through like Messenger or Instagram or something like that. But
Right.
weekends, hockey games, we go to there's like what is like the league under the NHL. They got a arena right by us. We go to them all the time. That's
ECHL
great.
Or is no? That's what is it? What is it? American.
It's
American
right
Hockey League.
underneath.
American Hockey League.
Yeah. Whatever. If they need a
AHL.
player to go up to the Avalanche, they go right
Yeah.
to the Avalanche like the next day.
Did the Avalanche make playoffs?
Yes, they did.
Ah, see, that
Yes, they did.
starts this week. I'm
So
thinking
you like
about
to
shelling
roll,
out the
huh?
money. I'm thinking about shelling them out the money for the tickets for the Blue Jackets this next week.
Oh, yeah?
$145 for a ticket, dude.
Oh boy.
$145 for a ticket.
Damn.
Yeah.
You like to roll, huh?
Roll?
Roller? Yeah, that's what I call it, rolling. Bowling?
What do you
Rolling, you want to
What do
roll?
you mean rolling?
Bowling.
Rolling the what?
Do you like to bowl?
Yeah.
Yes.
I love bowling. I went bowling today.
Rolling the what, man?
Yeah. I don't call around. That can mean many things.
Well,
Right.
I don't
know. Wait,
That can mean a raise.
I don't know
that
if
can
it's
call
my
a dookie,
age.
that can mean-
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's
Let me
my
ask you a
age,
question.
but I'm stuck watching the PBA a lot lately.
Yeah, dude.
I am.
Bowling is awesome. I love it, man. That's
Dude,
like
I'm watching
that's
it
the
like
only
these
way a
two-handed
fat guy can
boulders.
be a superstar, really, besides golf. You know what I mean? Shit.
Hey,
dude, have you ever played candlepin bowling?
No, but Jordy was actually telling me about it, that he plays that a lot.
I heard
Dude,
it was
I
cool.
went to New Hampshire to visit my wife's family,
Mhm.
right? There wasn't much to do. It was a snowstorm. And it said, you guys want to go bowling? So we go, yeah, let's go bowling. So we walk in. I'm like, what the fuck is this? They give you a ball. It's this big. You want to immediately throw it overhand. Okay, somebody like me wants to stand there like a fucking pitcher and throw it. It's like freaking 4 or 5 pounds. And the pins are just little wooden dowels. Right? So I'm like, oh, it's like actually playing a game at the fair. It's hard as shit, but I'm like, I've never heard of this. We don't have it in Florida. I've never seen candlepin bowling, but it's pretty cool. And you can, and the first reaction is to throw it as hard as you can, you know, which is not generally as accurate as if you're trying.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
so mini bowling's becoming a huge thing that they're putting into a lot of the bars now, and they're just half-size bowling alleys with the small handballs and
Yeah.
I mean they're set up just like bowling alleys and everything. Like
See, I love the
couple bucks
old
a game.
school bowling alleys.
I just
Old
like
school
bowling
bowling alleys. I
alleys.
love those.
Yeah.
Party centers where there's like all the games going on and shit. I hate those. Those suck.
I think it'd be cool as hell to buy this bowling alley down here. It's for sale. They want $2 million for it. It was built 10 years ago or something like that. But there's no other place there.
Yeah,
I
there's a
ain't got
bowling alley
$2 million.
about
Throw 'em a window.
maybe 5 minutes from
Yeah.
my house.
Yeah.
And it's just
Well, they tore
down
it's
one
a
up here.
straight bowling alley. It's got 3 pinball machines, a bar, and a pizza place.
Yeah.
That's all it is, and it's just bowling. We're actually having a party
and
there
a
for
claw
Elena.
machine. It's got to have a
It
claw
does have
machine.
a claw machine, of course. It's got a claw
Every
machine.
bowling
It
alley has a
does.
claw machine.
And a pro shop, so you can get fucking a hole drill in your ball.
Get your
and everything.
glove.
Get your glove.
When
and shit.
when they took smoking out up here, it put the
Yeah,
one
man,
bowling
it
out-
killed.
out,
It
doesn't
killed. Yeah, it killed. This one over here too. They barely corrected. They barely corrected. Man, if I want to go to a bowling alley and breathe secondhand smoke, just let me live my life, man. I don't understand. Just let me live my life.
I
dude.
still go to casinos and do it.
Have you guys ever been a part of a league? A bowling league?
No, man, I've never.
You got to
been-
be good.
I've
Yeah.
never
a
felt
little
good
much.
enough to be. Huh? Do you?
It's a
Are
little
you?
much. Not like it's not a pro league. I mean, it's straight up
Right,
go
but-
drink beer,
Yeah.
play 3 games every Thursday night, and that's it.
Right.
I mean, there's some good guys there, but I mean, most of the people. I mean, the old ladies are the best. I mean, they'll whoop your
yeah.
ass and they'll go real slow and they'll get a strike every time. And
I believe that bowling is a game like golf. If you take a lesson before you learn how to bowl, you'll be a good bowler. Like my brother is a great bowler. He bowled like a 286, which is 9 strikes in a row.
Yeah.
And he plays on a league that you have to, earn to be on. It's not just a pay league. And he told me, he said, Mark, first of all, your problem is you want to throw the ball at 100 miles an hour. And second of all is you got bad habits. It's like swinging the golf club. If you take a lesson how to swing a golf club and then refine that, you'll be a decent golfer most of the time. Same thing with bowling. So it sounds like, Steve, that you're a pretty good bowler if you take it, somewhat seriously.
I
Yeah.
love golfing.
yeah, it's poor man golf. That's what I call it.
Yeah.
I for last year I was really into it. I would go bowl on my own, like just like a nerd, just go bowl like 12 games on myself. There were some days I would just have no work to do, so I just go bowl 12 games. It was retarded. I just did it. So I got really good then. I felt really comfortable. This year I had like a 160 average, which really is like right in the middle. And there's some guys in there that just shoot 275s all night and it just makes you feel like shit. But it's one of those sports where like you feel really good one game, the next game you'll just suck. It just throws you off.
I'm into
that quick.
all the bar sports. I like bowling. I like playing pool. I have a dart arcade at my house. Like an arcade style dart machine at my house, a cricket machine. I love cricket. I love playing cricket. I will fuck you up in darts. Whoever wants some.
I'll play at darts, but I'm not good at it.
I'll fuck
And I
you
suck
up,
at pool.
dude.
I've
never even seen you throw darts, Tim, and I'm gonna fucking beat you.
I'm telling you,
Just because I know. Just because I know you
Yeah.
could probably dunk a basketball on me or something, so I just got to prove a point that I could fucking beat you at something.
I'm not. My wife kicks my ass at darts, so
Really?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I'm not a big dart guy.
I'm in no danger then, I guess.
No.
Are you guys going to go to the huge convention?
The huge convention? No. I don't know.
No?
I don't know. I've been invited by several people, and everyone asks if we're going. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I won't know until I know. You know what I mean? When is it?
What is it? Early August. I forget
August.
what dates.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's so hard for me to do something in August.
It's a weird time to go do something. I agree with that.
It's
kind of
super
weird.
hard.
August
If it was
is still
closer,
really busy.
If it was closer and wasn't in Missouri, I would most likely go. But being that, because fuck Missouri.
Just some,
I mean, no offense.
Is it close to
Luke
where
and
we
Rihanna.
were?
And Lewis Coatney, no offense to any of the three of you. You know, I love all three of you guys are great. But fuck Missouri.
I never been there.
Well, we were there last year, and it was
that's right.
It was somewhat cool. It was somewhat cool.
It was
we
cool
got to
because
see.
we were there. The rest of it.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah. We ate some cool barbecue at one place. Some people went to the what was it called? Racks. Like, you got to go to Racks. Gates. You got to go to Gates. It's the best.
Yeah.
We sent in Mark Tanner, the barbecue detective. He was fucking Chef Gordon Ramsay and that shit out there. He's like, listen, Gates sucks. We need to go to this place. So we go to this place, and you get there, and it looks like a fucking house. Like, it looks like a house. Like a house.
Amazing, right?
Yeah, and it was awesome. I had the sample platter the first night, and then we went back the second night, and that's when all the guys went back. The whole crew went back. And,
I'll be right back.
most of the cool dudes anyways. All the cool dudes got together and went to, again, for the second night, and they had this smoked chicken it was smoked and then breaded and then deep fried with mozzarella cheese on it, chicken sandwich. Dude, I get it like every now and then. I'm like, man, I wish that place was closer. Dude, it was the best chicken sandwich I ever had. I kept looking at Mark the whole time. I was like, dude, you should have got this. The whole time I was eating, dude, it's so good. Do you want a bite? He's like, no, man, I'm okay. It was, dude, it was
the one thing
so
I will say
good.
about Kansas City, they have a lot of barbecue there, but I think we nailed it. You know, here's the funny thing, Steve. I'm sitting in my hotel. We're just kind of unwinding, and I never watched that Guy Fieri show, Diners and Drives-In or whatever.
Yeah.
But we were looking for a barbecue place, and I had already been to Gates for lunch before TJ got there, and I was like, yeah, I'm not too impressed. So I just flipping through the channels, and I'm watching this Guy Fieri show about this place called BB's Lawnside Barbecue, and I'm like, it's in Kansas City. This is a sign, right? So I get on my phone and Google it, and it's like 8 miles away, and I'm like, we're going.
Right.
We're going to that. And TJ was like, where the fuck are you taking us? We're on these back roads. I mean,
dude, we were in the hood, bro. We were in the hood. But that should have been, like, that was, and that's what Joshua said. He's like, dude, we're in the hood. I was like, yeah. He goes, so you know the barbecue's going to be good. I was like, yeah, it's got to be good, right? Yeah. And it was, man. It was awesome. Like, we were sitting there eating, and a guy walked in with a guitar. And he just plugged into an amplifier, turned it on, and started playing. And then, like, 15 minutes later, and he was good. And then 15 minutes later, two other dudes walk in, and they start playing with him, and the dude starts singing. It was fucking awesome, man. It was cool as shit. Cool atmosphere, and you could feel, smell, and taste the history in the place. It was pretty badass. Oh, yeah. Pretty badass.
Definitely
I really enjoyed it. Yes, so, definitely recommend. Missouri sucks, but BB's Lawnside Barbecue is the shit.
Yeah, no doubt about that, man. That was some good barbecue.
But it's so true. The best barbecue in a town just south of us was in a house. I mean, they got a little too big and they had to move to like a restaurant, but it was a house, and they just had picnic tables out front that you ate on, and when they were out and closed. It didn't matter what time it was. They would on a Sunday be closed by 1 o'clock.
Right.
And stupid expensive, but you just paid it because you loved it.
Right. Yeah. Well, this place had a nice little deck on it that we sat on the second night. It was cool, man. Really cool place, cool atmosphere, and the best part was hanging out with the guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once we got away from Perry Tate's Reach It, he opened a bar at the Reach It store, and they it got so bad that Perry almost got beat up. I wish we would have stayed there for that.
I know. We missed that part.
When Indira's boyfriend or husband almost beat up Perry, I wish we would have been there for that.
Dude, and then they roll out these old shit Home Depot type smokers into the back behind the fucking store, right? And then
this like dude comes out and he's like
fucking parade of cars, like 1972 Caprice Classics with like 38-inch wheels on it where the tire's like this big, rolls through there like a fucking drive-thru.
Dude, there was this fucking... Dude, Perry had this whole spread and all these people. Weren't even window cleaners. Like, this dude's family showed up and ate all the food. Then this one old-ass, cracker-ass dude was like, hey, man, Mark's like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm smoking ribs. I'm like... but we won't be able to eat those till later. And he's like, oh, these will be done in a couple hours. Like, well, those ain't barbecue ribs, homie. You might as well just go and boil those.
Well, we seen him rolling the smoker, and TJ and I eyebrows go up like, all right, cool. And then I seen the guy that rolled it out there. I'm like, we got to go, man.
We got to go. We got to go somewhere else and eat, dude.
Yeah.
And we go outside, and the food was almost gone anyways. The crew rolled up and ate all the food. Yeah, it was fun. I still wish I'd have been there to see Perry get beat up. That shit would have been great. He didn't get beat up. He almost got beat up. And I would have liked to. If I would have been there, I would have agged it on. I'm like, you want to take that?
I think, honestly, if you think about the timeline, that might be where some of the shit stains in the pants showed up.
That dude looked. I guess so. I don't know. If it is open, I can tell you this. I can tell you this. There's definitely an issue going on at that store because the deliveries hopefully they've corrected it. I don't know, but there for a while the deliveries were off, and he was like, we've water tested gunslingers, and guys were still getting gunslingers that were leaking. It's like, how are you double water testing them and they're still leaking, dude?
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's crazy. But I still
That's
would. I
because they
wish
were
we
sent
would've
out with the
stayed.
fingers crossed. That's what it was. Dude, Flex seal them. Very simple. Just like you said, TJ. Flex seal them and send them out. The black ones you don't even know. You can get clear Flex seal. Flex seal them, send them out, spend frickin' $8.99 a can. You could probably do 20 gunslingers with a can.
You could do more
let
than
it dry.
20. You could do more
spray
than 20.
it again and ship it out.
Yeah.
Done.
That's what I did. The one I gave my buddy, I opened, and I gave one to Ben Marino too. And he gave it away. But I opened them up and I sprayed the inside of it. I spray after he begged for it. He gave it away. After I spent $40 sending it to him. Anyways, he gave it away. I opened them up and sprayed the inside seam with Flex Seal, man. And Jason had no problems. And Ben said his buddy that he gave it to look cool. He he says he's got no problems with his either. So I mean, it's a reasonable alternative to just having them leak all over the place. But the crux of the issue is, and even if you Flex Seal them, the binding's still going to wear down. You've shown us that.
Yeah.
You know that, Steve.
Yeah.
You've got plenty of them to know. I think if anyone's a pretty good judge of this is a great idea but not pulled off very well, you'd probably be the guy because you've owned several. And you're saying your 1.1s are good or no good?
No good. Not any one
man,
of them.
dude. Yeah, that's terrible, man. That sucks,
Yeah.
dude. Like, I honestly thought for a second there, because people were giving me so much shit about what I was saying, I actually thought for a second there that maybe I was being punked, like he was doing it to me on purpose. And then when everything kind of went nuts, I can't remember if you did a live stream or something. You did something. It might have been a podcast or a live stream. You and your girlfriend sat down with a pile of gunslingers.
Yeah, the day that
you mentioned it, and I was like, well, I'm not the only fucking one. Thank you, someone, for coming out and saying, listen, man, I've been kind of having some problems, too, because guys are in the background roasting me, dude. You're like, you're a piece of shit. I'm like, dude, they're just leak. They don't work like the prototype. I'm sorry. I wish you would have got a prototype like me and Tim got. Man, dude, those are so awesome, man. Oh, it's so... Mark's got one now, too, dude. Richie's laying around the house.
What y'all got is not a gunslinger. It's not, because I got a prototype 2 months ago, and it's not. It acts differently. The tools fit differently. It moves differently on you. Okay? It doesn't... Hey, Steve, have you ever noticed, like you started talking about the back of the gunslinger? I noticed on every gunslinger that I had that the back was cold. It wasn't necessarily seeping through yet, or it wasn't dripping at all, but the back was ice cold. And I'm like, you're working and you're not, you're thinking it's got to be wet or leaky, and that's just because there's no insulation in it compared to what the original ones were made with, and it is wicking between the fabric and whatever liner's in there, because and look, it's going to eat itself up over time, no matter what,
Right.
I wish I messaged Richie once and I said, dude, I'll just pay you whatever you want to make one. And he's such a respectable guy. He's like, I just can't do it. Like, I can't do it. And it's like, dude, you could make so much money off this shit if somehow this all gets figured out. Like, people would buy custom ones for so much money. And that's kind of the reason why I went out and bought a bunch, because I was like, this is not going to be around for long, because of everything that was going on. So that's why I bought a few and then got a couple for
These
free.
guys,
just
those outlaw guys are gonna burn this fucker down. I'm gonna buy Listen, man,
I didn't know. I didn't. Huh? Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I was gonna say I didn't really know the video that Luke put out about Perry and everything. That really opened my eyes. I really didn't know, and I was kind of trying to almost stay neutral because I would get mad at times, but then and I try to stay neutral. But then when that came out, I was like, holy freaking shit! Especially the recordings. The recordings were the most eye-opening part of it. Then I was like, wow, this is insane. This is crazy. And at the same time, Perry was trying to kiss up to me through Facebook Messenger and shit. And so I emailed him the next day because he was supposed to send me another gunslinger because these ones leaked. And I said, I'm not going to purchase I do not want anything from Reach It. I told him, do not answer this email. It will not be read. Pretty much fuck off. Because after I saw that, I was like, this is insane. This is crazy that he would say all this crazy stuff. And that opened my eyes to the whole entire fucking thing. Yeah.
I think, Steve, that you've made that's a definite point. And I think there's a lot of people just like you that aren't saying anything and just trying to look, for me it was,
which is the right thing to do.
Exactly. Right. But I've always said that I'd like to once I heard about the money issue, that was the closer for me.
Yeah.
That was the biggest issue. I mean, everything else can be rectified. You can't rectify that.
But when Perry showed all that shit publicly, I was just like, dude, what in the fuck, man? Come on, dude.
Well, if you think about it,
again,
you look at the whole package.
1,200 gunslingers, $675, bro. Come on, dude.
Come
on, bro. You grimy bastard. And then Tim sent me that. Boy, he's like, all right, I'll send it to you, dude. He sent it to me, and I was just like, I'm using it. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? And I sent it. I sent them to Luke. I was like, you could use it if you want, or I'm going to use it. You decide what you want to do with it. You know what I mean? Right. I felt he had a right to know, because Perry picked up a loaded, he picked up a loaded gun and pointed it. That's what he did. There was a lot of shit going on at the time between Luke and Tim, you know what I mean? A lot of bullshit back and forth. Both parties were going back and forth, of course. And that, of course, I'm going to start saying shit because that's my buddy and I'm going to stick up for him. And I felt like, this was wrong, that was wrong, whatever. Perry saw that and acted on it. That's exactly what he did. That was his way to get some people to listen to him. And we all, Tim and I both are just like, dude, you know what I mean? It was embarrassing for us. That shit, all of that shit was embarrassing for us. It was super fucking embarrassing.
When we decided we were going to open our mouths about it, it was like, we thought we were done. We thought the podcast was done.
I thought the podcast was done, everything,
Because, I mean, that was our integrity on the line, just like everybody else,
I went into me saying, you know what, I'm going to say something about my gunslingers leaking. I'm going to say something about this. I'm going to say something about that. And Tim's like, man, this is probably going to ruin everything. I was like, well, we got it. We can't not say something. We got to say something. If we don't, then we're even bigger assholes than we already look like. So we had to say something, and we lost a lot of we did lose a lot of support. There's a lot of guys that just like, fuck these guys, you know what I mean? And they'll find out for themselves later on, you know what I mean? I feel like, after Tim and Luke buried the hatchet, and Tim and they started talking, and we started talking about them coming on the podcast and shit and getting to know Luke, and they couldn't be further from the people as described. Same with Chris and Alex. Those aren't the dudes that Perry described to me and Tim. You know what I mean? I don't, And I was like, well, I got kicked out of the group, and they're kind of douchebags, so maybe all this shit that Perry's saying is true. You know what I mean? Right. And then you sit and talk to the guys for a little. Wait a minute, this just something's not adding up here. You know what I mean? Right. Something doesn't.
Smoke and mirrors.
Plus smoke and mirrors, and then boom. And then boom, he's like, here, look, here's a record of my fucking ass hattery. Here it is. Emails where I'm trying to fuck this guy. Look what I said to him. Here, 1,200 gunslingers, I'm going to give you $675. Hey, I want you to make my buddy a custom-made crocodile skin gunslinger, and I want you to pay for it. You know what I mean?
He did pay for it.
Richie had to pay for that.
$600 gunslinger, bro. $600 gunslinger.
That came out of Richie's fucking pocket.
And this was like real alligator or what?
Yes.
Real
alligator. Yes.
He had to buy the whole.
How do you get that?
He had to buy.
Yeah, Richie had to.
Steve-O's like, shit, I want one of those, dude.
Richie went to the zoo, almost got arrested, killed an alligator, dragged his hide back, and cut that fucker up in his living room.
That's not what happened. That's not what happened. He was at Arnold's in the parking lot. He tried to jump a tank of alligators. He landed on the last one, and he turned it into a gunslinger.
But seriously, he couldn't just buy the little piece of meat for one gunslinger. He had to buy the whole roll. So he had to buy like a whole fucking alligator and paid like $600 for this fucking roll.
Dude, that's how crazy
Make
is
one
that,
gunslinger. And
but
Perry charged him for it. That was part of the charges, was that alligator skin shit. Dude, that he did.
You got to look at it overall. 1,200 gunslingers is $120,000 in revenue. Even if there was 100 less due to the fact that there were leakers. Never mind all the freebies, like, you got 5 of them and paid for 2, or whatever the number is, okay? that shouldn't be Richie's fault. He didn't assemble them wrong. He didn't put shit materials in them.
No.
He had the design that worked. So that said, if you sold 1,200, that's $10,200.
I'm going to give
Richie.
you $600.
$120,000.
$120,000. I'm going to give you $600. That should have been an easy 12 grand. Easy 12 grand. Done and done. And he still hasn't even gotten half of that, I bet. I bet you he hasn't gotten half of that. It's unfortunate.
And I bet
he ain't.
The people he's getting to make them, I bet, are getting paid, for a day? And it's got to be cheap labor. Like,
he's got
maybe $10 a day. Like,
he's got it down to a science over there, dude. You know what I mean?
Well, those people are they're contracted workers. When you work in China, you sign a contract with someone that you're going to work for this amount of time. You're going to get this amount of money, no matter what you're doing. So, chances are there's people that aren't really good at stitching and sewing. I always said that the quality control wasn't there. Some of these things, the buckles were sewn on the wrong side, stitches were missing, some were single stitch, some were double stitched. That kind of shit should not happen ever.
Yeah. Well, if you want, all you got to do, do you have like a Costco or a Sam's Club near you, Steve?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Both.
Just go. They've got at Sam's Club, they've got a 5-gallon bucket of Cracker Jacks. Each one has a Gunslinger inside. So,
awesome.
And for those of you that are constructor brush, you could rob your kids' Legos and build a new rinse bar out.
That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. All you need is the long, skinny ones that have the holes in them. That's all you need is one of those.
Yeah.
It's already got the holes in them. You just stick it on. You're good to go, dude. You're good to go.
Mark, you're the reason why I bought a constructor brush, because you were in that video with Perry. When was this? Like years ago when it first came out, and you guys had your whole lift in the back, and I was like, these guys are pros. These guys know what it is. And then I got one and tried to take that
my Tanner. I'm a pro.
I will say
Mark's
this,
head's gonna blow up. Thanks a lot, Steve.
No.
There we go.
Listen.
Biggest head window cleaning.
Look, I think the idea of a rebuildable brush is a great idea. I'll never back down from that. It's just the way that it was put together. You know, it's the way, and again,
it's the way that it's put together, and the bristles are fucking garbage, dude. They're garbage. You know what I'm saying? If I would be able to look past the bristles if you could put one of those fuckers together easily, but you cannot. He said, 2 years ago, I think on a live stream, and I think I have that recorded. I'm just waiting for him to do more stupid shit. I've got all kinds of shit. But anyways, he was going to modify the constructor brush to where there was not going to be screws. She had a little Phillips screw this friggin' big. You got to cram that end on, and try to thread that screw through. I told him, I was like, why don't you just build end caps with the bristles in them already, and then just slide a nut and a bolt and just an acorn nut on the end of it? I mean, why is that got to be so fucking difficult? It's the cheapest way possible. That's what it is.
CJ.
Yeah.
Series Perry Tate cheap shit took 7 weeks to deliver to Australia. Paid express post. Would not respond to phone or email for over 1 month to reply, and would not send repair kit for the Gunslinger. Hey man, I tried to tell you guys. I tried to tell y'all. Yeah, from Australia. Australia. That's his neighbors. He's from New Zealand. Those are his neighbors, man. He's doing them dirty, man. So
Isn't he
Craig,
in a store there?
Craig, he is like marketing to you as an Australian window cleaner the bad monsoon. He said in a post recently that if you live below 35 degrees, I'm assuming in the southern hemisphere, you want a bad monsoon. Australian dudes want gunslingers with kickstands. Can you explain to me why it is that Australian dudes want gunslingers with kickstands? Is that like an Australian thing? Because that's what he was making it out to be. Because that's where he's retreating to. Slowly but surely, that's where he's retreating. Go ahead, Mark.
Well, you obviously don't watch the news because there's a tremendous bucket shortage in Australia, so you can't get a bucket anymore. So you want your gunslinger to stand up on its own. That's why.
Oh yeah,
shortage.
Is it?
No,
there's no Firehouse subs to get a pickle bucket.
Didn't Perry say something about you're not allowed to use a fucking bucket in Australia when you're cleaning windows? He said you're
Why would
not
you?
allowed to use a bucket, is what he said.
be
Anymore. You
crazy.
can't use a bucket
Wow.
anymore. I think somebody said something like that. I don't know. Maybe he
Aaron,
didn't.
I know window clean Palm. He used a bucket. He lived in Australia.
Does he? Oh, dude, that dude's
Yeah.
great, man. He's fucking great, dude. I love
He
that
makes
guy.
some great videos
Yeah, he's
sometimes.
fucking hilarious, man.
Tim, I know you didn't like one of them, but
Yeah.
he's made. I think he deleted his channel though. He deleted the whole thing.
He comes back eventually. He goes back and forth on it.
Yeah.
Whenever Eric acts up.
He's coming out to my house for like 3 weeks here in the summer.
Oh,
Like,
cool.
That'd be
we'll go to brands. He spent some time with me last year before the convention, and then we got to the convention. But
Awesome.
he was gonna work for us this summer. But then, man, bringing a person over and doing the visas and doing all that shit is so expensive. And it's like
Really?
a year process to get it. Yeah,
Wow.
to have him work and be able to pay him and have. I mean, it would be long enough. I couldn't do it. You know, you can't do it under the table. You had to do it the right
of
way.
course. Yeah, of
And-
course.
Yeah, and it was just crazy, but it would have been kind of cool to,
Yeah,
have him
oh,
over
yeah.
here. The guy's an amazing filmographer. I mean, fuck,
Yeah.
what stuff
Well,
he can do is crazy.
that video that you did with the cleanse is pretty fucking dope. Where you guys,
Yeah.
that was an awesome ass video. I liked that.
Jordy's really great. If you ever get a chance to meet Jordy,
I've
I mean,
heard nothing but good things about him. Everyone says good things about him. Everyone.
Yes.
I've not heard one bad comment about Jordy. Everyone.
Jordy
loves
was the
Jordy.
most peaceful guy through that whole crap we were all going through.
yes, he
Yeah,
was.
You know
I
what
mean,
I
and
mean?
Tim was one of those people that said Jordy's
Yeah.
the coolest fucking dude, man. You know,
Yeah. It's just-
that's my
He's
closest
just
I get to
he
my
stayed
Tim voice.
neutral. He didn't get involved. He just he just did his thing. So
Yeah.
and he told me straight up. He goes, "Hey, I can't be in the group because I want to be neutral." And
Yeah.
and he's friends with Luke, and he still stayed neutral. So
Yeah. There's some times where I just box him just to vent, and he'll just say, "Speak, Steve. Just speak. Just let it
Yeah.
all out."
Yeah.
And we'll just talk back and forth throughout the day, and it's like, yeah, he's just a great guy overall.
Yeah, but does
Yeah.
he send you
Yeah.
farts every morning?
no,
No,
I
he
get
does
those.
not.
No, he's not that.
That's
fucking
my
cool
special
then.
friendship.
Then he's not that cool. Then
In my world.
Tim, you
Wet
know what,
morning
Tim?
farts.
I get
Shower
ball.
farts.
I get a ball.
He gets
The
all of them.
smelliest
dude.
ones.
I get a ball. I don't thank
we-
God there's no smell text.
Yeah, respectfully, we call them fluffs. We do not. They're not farts.
Yeah. I don't have to say fart.
That's Tim's preferred vernacular. Him and his
It's my
wife do not fart in
wife,
front of
not
each
me.
other.
We do.
Whatever, bro. Yes, you do.
And
You're the one that said fluff. And by the way, Tim was smoking in the office.
yes, I am. Not actually. No, seriously, I'm only allowed to smoke in here for not much longer because it's actually
So
not an
does-
office anymore. It's
Does
a
anyone
room. that he-
yeah. It's a room that I'm sometimes allowed to smoke in.
No, Betty won't sleep in here, so we got to wait
Oh,
until
yeah,
this
that's
weekend.
right.
We got to switch Luke over here because Betty's still sleeping in bed with us every damn night.
Oh man, dude.
Unlike a
Yeah,
5-year-old in your back, man.
Nah, I'm done with that. I don't do that.
Yeah. I gotta get him out of
Does
my room.
anyone in the chat, anyone watching, does anyone have a question for Steve-O? Does anyone have a question for Steve-O? Does anyone have a question for Steve-O?
Anybody?
Yeah, it's
Bueller?
10:05. Yeah, we got like 20 minutes here.
Wow. That thing flew by.
Yeah, dude. I mean, when we have cool people on, it usually does. What's cool about this is I don't know Steve very well. Mark doesn't know Steve very well. Tim doesn't know Steve very well. So it's kind of cool to be able to meet someone and you get to know them during the show. It's awesome, man. Sour Diesel before watching. Yeah.
It's always good to it's good to interact with someone before you, especially with social media the way it is, get to know Steve for who Steve is, not what someone tells you Steve is. I mean,
Yes.
not that anyone said bad. Honestly, Steve, I haven't had any discussion about you. I've heard of you because you're a YouTuber. TJ's mentioned it, but I don't watch a lot of videos.
Yeah.
But hey, speaking of videos, Steve, was that video the one where we had a water-fed pole, a chairman, and a lift on one job?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
So we had a challenge. I want to bring that back up. It was when the constructor brush first came out, and we were restoring the glass on a five-story building. So Mike Kilcommons, that works north of us, he came down with his Reach It and all his plus A's and B's and extensions, so we could make a 50 or 60-foot water-fed pole. I had my lift there, and I had a high-rise guy there on ropes because we were done with the first floor restoration, and we just had to wash the building. The building needed to be scoured, so this wasn't a very accurate test of what actually is the fastest process cleaning windows, because everybody says it's water-fed pole. Well, sure, you can scrub and rinse a window, but that doesn't mean it's clean. We all know that, okay? So I had Mike on the high-rise on the rope. I was in the lift, and Mike Kilcommon was running the water fed. Now, keeping in mind, on the water fed, on that 5-story building, there were double windows per floor, so he had to physically collapse the pole multiple times to get to the bottom. So we had a race, you know. But Mike was scouring the windows with steel wool, as was I. Mike Kilcommons was just water fed poling and a traditional scrub and rinse. And the chairman made it to the ground first. I was very close to the water-fed pole, but Mike in the water-fed pole did beat me because a lift can only move so fast.
Yeah.
Right.
But our windows were done. The water-fed pole windows looked like nothing had happened to them.
Right.
Yeah, because you're just agitating. I mean, it was beyond a water-fed pole clean, but
So,
the speed was in that order.
Right. We have a question from North Jersey Window Cleaning. It's Rob Peloso. Rob Peloso would like to know, Steve-O, not sure if you said I got here late, but what rubber are you using in the flick, and do you find hard or soft best for the flick?
Just Ed Master Rubber. That's it. I don't know if that's a hard or soft.
It's a soft. No, it's a soft.
Is that a soft? That's all I use.
Soft.
I use soft rubbers too, man. It don't matter. Yeah. Sorbo soft, Unger soft, fucking Ed soft. I use soft rubbers the way to go. That's just my opinion.
It just glides nice, and I don't have any issues with it ever.
Superior Services LLC asked Steve, anything in the works for your company or YouTube channel?
I have some new things coming about in it, but it's not anything that's like, it's nothing crazy or anything. I'm going to be doing, you'll see a lot of this stuff because I have to do it. I just started working with Jobber, which is like a CRM software for window cleaning or any type of service business. So like I became like an ambassador for them. So it'll be kind of sales pitching. I'll put it in my videos, but it's basically a thing to like, you know, share their software, and you get some perks as far as like using the software for free and stuff like that. So you'll see that kind of crap.
Is that a scheduling type of software?
It's everything from scheduling, quoting. You can do a lot of stuff on it. You can have your employees clock in and out of it. It's super easy to use. I used House Call Pro. I use Customer Factor. Could never get them to work. And then we used this for a little bit in like October, and then we decided to use it. We're like real old school, still like we have a lot of our calendar in the iPhone calendar because it works so nicely to put jobs in there. But it's gotten too messy. So we're trying to switch over to this, put all of our clients in it, put 20 years of info in it. So that might be something, but I don't really have anything it'll pretty much be the same old shit, window cleaning technique videos.
I don't peel up. My daughter's she's going to the hospital. She's starting to contract, so.
Oh boy.
Might be a grandpa soon.
Oh,
so.
again.
Yeah, again.
Wow.
Grandpa Tim, again.
Wow.
Craig asked, Steve, do you talk to Fluff Daddy, or is that more a Luke group thing? Well, I don't know.
I talk to Fluff. Fluff's great.
What is
Fluff
that?
is awesome.
What does Luke group thing mean? What does that
I don't know. I don't know what that means.
Your buddies with
Yeah.
Luke?
Huh?
You guys are all pals. Why
Yeah, we're all pals.
Why
I don't know
there
what that
gotta be
means.
like dissension in the works?
I know.
Is Jobber better than Responsibid, Steve? I mean,
I have not used Responsibid,
that's
so I
from
couldn't tell
Philip
you.
Alexander. Here, I counter your question with a totally unrelated one. Steve,
I don't know what Responsibid is.
Steve, do you hunt and do you snowboard or ski?
I don't hunt and I ski.
Ski, okay. I tried skiing once and it wasn't cool. I looked pretty stupid.
I get on
Jason
sled.
Lehman, he already asked the question about the van, answered the question about the van. You must not have been here for it, but he said he likes his Ram van. So you guys can hook up later and rub wieners.
Steve, is it a white one? Is it a creeper color? A creeper van?
Yeah, it's white. Yep. Just two back windows.
I think all of those Dodge Ram vans are. The only thing I don't like about the Dodge Ram van is it
Say
looks
that
like they
about
forgot
that.
the headlights when they built it, and then they just stuffed them up in the front. You know what I'm
Four
saying?
corners.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, oh shit, we got to put headlights on it. Luke's forum. I've never. I see. There's guys got forums and shit, man.
I can't.
Really.
I will post my videos on Luke's forum, and that's pretty much it. But I do not like forums. It's enough answering questions from guys off everything else. I cannot do forums as well.
I used to do MMA, the underground. You know what I mean? Back in the day. So I'm an MMA head. I love MMA. That's my shit. And the forum is just dudes. It's the problem with forums is it's super ambiguous, and dudes are fucking straight assholes in forums.
Did you
because there's
use
no
SureDog?
consequences. Yeah.
Yeah, I love SureDog. That's my news since
Right.
2005. That's what I've
Yeah.
used for all my MMA
Cool.
news. SureDog.
Yeah. That's I tell you, man. Internet forums, that is the beginnings of trolldom. That's where that started, is internet forums, dude. You know what I mean?
Sounds like Ronda Rousey's coming back to.
No, she's not.
What?
She's gonna come. She's gonna come back and get
grass.
fucking. She's gonna get the shit.
She's either
kicked out of
doing
her,
that
bro.
or she's getting pregnant. One of the two, because
Dude,
she's
listen,
done it.
she
She's
ain't
doing
got
her
no
last
hands,
match
bro.
tonight.
Is
ain't
she
got
really
no
done
hands,
after
bro.
tonight?
She said. I mean, she came out and said that. So
Was that her like little YouTube video thing when then she starts going on a saxophone? Did you see that?
Yeah, that's
I thought
what
that
I'm
was
saying.
fake.
No,
That was April Fool's.
I don't. No, it was yesterday or today. One of the two.
No, she posted it on April 1st.
Oh, then maybe.
Yeah.
I
can't
I
trust
just seen it
nothing
on
on the
Facebook.
internet,
bro.
today.
You can't trust
On
WrestleMania
April
is
1st.
tonight, I think, right?
Yeah, I'm missing
Yeah,
it. Talk to
yeah,
you
I gotta-
guys.
Listen.
But-
Gotta get on there.
Wait,
gotta
what,
figure that out.
You, Steve, you and Tim want to go watch WrestleMania?
Yeah. Yeah, we don't wrestle.
Why didn't you say so, dude? You could have left, man. I mean, if you gotta go, bro, I gotta go watch
no.
the wrestling. Hook and choke wrestling.
I
Yeah.
love wrestling, bro.
Listen, I used to
I
be a
still watch
huge
it.
wrestling fan. I watched WrestleMania, like last year or 2 years ago, and it's the first time I watched in like 20 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I haven't watched wrestling since, like back in like the 90s, the early to late 90s, all the way through the 80s, of course.
It was good, but
Yeah, the mid to late 90s
there's
is
another
when I
company
stopped.
coming up. There's another company by a billionaire, the guy that owns Jacksonville Jack.
AEW or something?
Yeah. So they're
Yeah.
going to try to do this war again. Is what they're going to try to do. But
That would be cool.
WWE's getting sold to next year to Fox. So the McMahon's won't even own it anymore.
No way.
Yeah,
I
that's in the
believe
works. It's going to be
Would
sold
you
next
read
year.
that on April 1st? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Man. It's
Yeah.
it's been in the works for a while. They just signed SmackDown's going to Fox this year, and then they're selling to Fox. So
I love wrestling, man. I love wrestling.
Oh,
I
dude.
like the old school wrestling.
Well,
you know what I mean? When they had
AEW's
mullets and when Ric Flair would come fucking strutting on there, those fucking promos that he used to do. Oh my god, dude, that shit is
AEW's
fire,
the Bullet
dude.
Club,
Fire, dude. You can't hold these
Bullet Club's going
alligators
to be an
down,
AEW,
son.
so that's going to be the shit.
The
I'm
Bullet
telling
Club?
you. The Bullet Club.
Oh.
Is that AJ Styles too?
Well, he's
part
going
that?
over there. I think he's going over there.
Tim knows way too much
I'm
about
showing
fucking wrestling.
how
This
nerdy I
really-
am because I know all the names.
Yeah.
Oh,
And shit.
it really
Kenny
explains a
Omega
lot with
and
both
Cody
of you guys,
Rhodes
you know?
and shit like that. You know what I mean? It's gonna
Well,
be cool.
I will say this, Steve. It was awesome having you on. We'd like to have you back again sometime later on.
sure.
You know, if you got anything going on, you know, or you don't, you're like, hey man, I'd like to come on the podcast. You're more than welcome back anytime.
Thank you for having me. It was
it was
awesome.
cool getting to know you because my only interaction with you was on one of my YouTube videos. You're like, you're a fucking douchebag. You know? And unfortunately, you were correct because I was being a douchebag. So there
Like most
wasn't a
people
whole
when they
lot I
first
could
meet
say.
TJ say that, right?
Like TJ's a fucking dick. He was just
I
like,
think
dude,
one of
you're
my
a douchebag.
favorite things ever. I was watching one of your videos and you said, and you were just like, you had the video going, you were talking, and you were like, yeah, I don't get all those camera angles like Steve-O. Fuck him, man. I couldn't help but just laugh.
That fucking shit's annoying. You guys and all your fucking camera angles, man. I'm like, what the fuck, man? You guys get
It
on my
turns into a
nerves.
waste of time sometimes. Man.
I got a question for you guys though. When you set up what I assume is a tripod or something, you just put your phone in the bushes. Do you ask permission from these people to allow you to film their
Nah.
places? No.
you know what's funny is you guys know Keith Kalfas and stuff. He talks about that he always says like he actually got fired from a job for doing YouTube.
Yeah.
Like the company fired him. He talked about that recently. And then but yeah, I don't ever ask permission. And sometimes I do. Like the one place I don't like filming is inside a home. I think that's a little weird.
Yeah, that's creepy.
A little strange. And I'm weird about filming bids. I'm weird about, I mean, overall, I mean, even putting a camera on your head sometimes is like really weird. Like I'll have the camera on my head, be filming and stuff. Cause it's like the easiest way to like not be taking time out of your day. Just put that up, get some B-roll for whatever you're going to talk about later. But then you see someone and you just rip it off your head. Oh, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know when I look at a job.
There's a mount for a GoPro on your arm. I was actually thinking about buying it. They want $50 fucking dollars for that fucking thing.
Yeah.
$50 for a strap.
But if you don't buy the GoPro ones and you get that like $20 accessory package off Amazon, every single thing you get in there is a complete piece of trash.
Reach it, right?
Yes, I already know.
The Reach It GoPro pack.
Fucking A, dude. I've got one of those little Hero Sessions, the little tiny cube. I love that thing for my pole.
It's great.
Yeah, I see. That's the one I want. I was like, maybe I'll just put it on my arm, and then it's ambiguous.
Dude. I use an actual camera. Yeah, with the tripod shit. Yeah, I don't fuck around.
Man, how do you set that on the ground to get the angle right? Do you like lay on the grass?
I have tripods. I use tripods.
Oh, okay.
And then I'll hang them in trees and shit.
Oh, okay.
And then they just wrap around the pole.
The jaw clamp with like the almost anal bead looking thing, and then it gets onto the camera. That thing is the best. That's the thing you can do a bunch with. And then I got the Hero 7 recently, and the only nice thing with that is that you have a whole stabilizing feature on it. Because I have trimmer, so my hands like shake. So I always have issues if I was holding the camera. I would look back at the footage, but I can't use it. That's gonna make someone throw up. Right. So I got this, and it's helped a lot.
No shit.
And you can take really good photos from the video if you get the GoPro app. And that for me is like I've got
a new Simpole video that's coming out, and my thumbnail for it, I'm all squatted down in front of a brick wall, like fucking like 80s style, like a fucking boss. I'm just, I'm doing like, because Tim has been after me forever, like, dude, you need to start putting thumbnails on your videos. And I'm like, man, fuck that. So finally I started doing it, and now I'm like, dude, I gotta go like super corny, like Bobby Brown style, like, girl, don't be cruel. I'm like posing there with my Simpole and shit. I just like being a dick, dude. Everything I do is 90% of it is satire, you know what I mean? I like to help out with tools and stuff, like with Phil, but I just Richie, I just like to have fun.
Do you still not tag your videos?
I'm starting to go back through and tag them. Actually Luke showed me how. I'll be completely transparent. Luke walked me through how to you can upload, like, you could put tags in and they're there all the time. I didn't know you could do that and save it. Tim probably told me 50 fucking times, and I'm just like, you know what I mean? Tim's like, you got to put a description in there. Like, Tim, I didn't know how to do the end of a video. I couldn't get anyone to subscribe to Tim's channel because I didn't know how to work it. He explained it to me 20 times. He's like, dude, I guess I could like take over your YouTube channel and do it for you. You know. But, I had a problem. The problem with my thumbnails is I couldn't figure out how to get them sized right. And Tim's like, go do this, go do this. I felt bad for asking Tim the same question over and over again. You know what I mean?
I've got like 5 videos backed up that I haven't even touched yet.
Yeah, me too. I've got a bunch, and I'm just going to let them go out as they go. You know what I mean? What can you do?
I might start some shit.
I'm gonna start some shit. Yes.
we need something new for the podcast.
What are we gonna talk about?
I'm bored. I start some shit.
Right. Well, Steve-O, it was awesome having you. I want you to come back sometime. If you guys don't know, go to Steve-O's YouTube channel and subscribe, man. Hit the like buttons, hit the bells, and he's gonna show you how to fucking tutorial something. He's gonna tutorial the fuck out of it. Steve-O is the tutorial. Yes, he's the tutorial king. He's gonna compare every fucking channel versus every channel. He's gonna do it all. You guys want for that? I'm gonna say you're the man to go to guy for that stuff. You know, and
Now
now show it all.
The next video is a 6-inch brass channel versus an 8-inch brass channel. What's the difference?
2 inches.
2
inches.
The 2 inches she wanted.
Right.
Steve,
Well,
I
you
have a
guys,
penis.
what?
Steve, I have a question. Do you keep your channels in a wrench holder?
No, don't.
Do you
Very
want
important.
Do you want a zebra cake box for your tool belt to store all your channels on, so you have them on your stave at all times?
Please.
Go
And
to
that they all Velcro
cheapshit.com
together. That's
and-
the most important
Yeah,
thing.
you just duct tape them together, bro. It was awesome
Yeah,
having you on, Steve.
Thank you, guys.
You know, hopefully you'll come back again. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
That'd be great.
definitely.
Yeah,
Thank
man.
you very much,
So
guys.
we will be back. What do you say, guys?
Wednesday.
Possibly. We don't have no
Yep.
guests. We don't have no guests Wednesday, so it'll probably just be the three of us rocking out. So
Get Jersey on here.
yeah, we need to get Jersey on for sure. So for fucking Mark and Tim and Josh, Big Show, if he's never on, but he's still with us here in spirit. We thank you guys for watching, and thank you, Steve-O, for coming on. We'll see you Wednesday.
Good talking to you, Steve.
Yep.
Yep.
See ya.
Peace.
Deuces.
Peace. Bye.
See you guys.
Later.